Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and joining me today is one of the top indie stars in pro wrestling. We've got Amber Rodriguez in the chat. What's going on, Amber?
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad to have you on. Big shout out to my boy TZ. He set
Yeah.
all of this up. Does the intro song for the podcast. Absolutely love TZ and the Swerve City podcast. So give them a quick shout out. I appreciate you, brother. But Amber, how's your day going? Let's start off basic.
Oof, it's going. I actually just got off work like an hour ago, so I'm exhausted.
Tough. We're going to talk about everything related to pro wrestling with Amber, but you know what I got to do first? I got to do my shills. First and foremost, a big shout out to Powerslam.tv. Powerslam.tv is where you guys can get all of your local indie wrestling. Use the promo code EPW show and you guys can get 1 month of indie wrestling for free on your boy. You could probably look up some of Amber Rodriguez's matches if you like her so much afterwards. You guys could look them up. Check them out on Powerslam.tv. EPW show is the code. And speaking of that code, you could use EPW show once again to get yourself some Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0. This bad boy is designed for growing grooming. You can use it males, females. We don't discriminate here on Everything Pro Wrestling. Trim those hedges. That's all you got to do. And like I tell you, a wise man once told me, if you trim the hedges, the trees look taller. All right. So not only will I thank you, your balls will thank you too. All right. And I'm pretty sure the ladies will thank you as well. So fellas, take care of that stuff. Get the foot duster, the crop duster. They've got it all. The reviver, all of the little things. Use promo code EPW show. Get 20% off, free delivery. It works, man. People in the chat will tell you. And what is going on to John L. Jackson? Doug, I see you. Rob, what's going on, everybody? What is happening? We've got Amber Rodriguez in the house. Top indie star here, so make sure we show some respect in the chat. Amber, first question for you. How did you get into pro wrestling?
Well, I always loved it. Like I was always a fan of wrestling. I remember watching it since like my first like memory of wrestling is when Chris Jericho debuted on Raw and interrupted The Rock's promo. And ever since then, I've been hooked. And I want to say, yeah, I can't remember how old I was. I want to say like 4. Can't remember.
99? Don't make me feel old.
99. No, I was 5.
Okay. Woo, I'm still feeling old. When I was 5, Ric Flair was the world champ.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But what got you into it though? Was it a family member? Did you just happen to scroll by and you were like, oh, this looks cool, let me watch this?
Yeah, I was getting there. So my brother, shout out to Chuck Lennox, out in MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling. We actually joined a training school together when I was like 15 and he was well over 15. We joined a training school together. Actually, that was Gilberg's Pro Wrestling Academy. And then when they closed down, we lateraled over into the MCW school. So, I mean, he found the school and told me about it. And I was like, man, like, I need to be here. I need to go here. Because we both, like, always wanted to be wrestlers. Like, we never wanted to be, like, a doctor or a lawyer. Like, for every career day, it was, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. So here we are.
It's wild how many people are connected to think the same thing about pro wrestling. Now, so you said your brother got you into this. Now, was he the type to like do wrestling moves on you? I know it says don't try this at home, but
yeah. And I was doing moves on him. So I wasn't just getting beat up.
Okay. I could tell by your matches that wasn't happening. So your brother and you go to the school, you start training. I mean, what were your first thoughts going into the school? Like, were you intimidated? Were you like, oh, I think I got this? Were you always like athletic? Did you come from a sports background?
I did not come from like, well, I kind of do. So I danced. I did like majorette dance in school. So kind of athletic, but when I say nothing compares to wrestling training, like I'm also in the military, and so like I can say like all of, like my PT, like nothing compares to wrestling training. Like it is completely different. Like so it wasn't intimidating as far as being there, but the workouts were definitely intimidating. But eventually I became as accustomed to it as you can be. I mean, I will never forget my first bump. It was terrible, but I mean, I
I don't.
lasted this long, so
I would consider dance though like a very tough thing to do. A lot of people assume it's easy, but you need a lot of I guess stamina is one of the words,
yes,
charisma. A lot of things in dance relate to pro wrestling.
you need swag. You need swag. I actually compare dance to wrestling a lot because both of them, it's storytelling through movement. You know, storytelling using your body. But the thing with dance, I wasn't like downplaying it at all. I was just saying like it's a different type of cardio to be in the ring. You know, it's just it doesn't compare to anything else.
So many wrestlers often say that you got to get back into the ring to get in ring shape. No matter what, you
Mhm.
can do all the training, running, but nothing compares to being in that ring. Uh,
Exactly.
my next question relates back to Dwayne Gill. A lot of people here know Dwayne Gill as Gilbert, as she brought up before. I remember Dwayne Gill as I hate to use this term, but a job guy in the WWF. Like you knew that when he came in, he wasn't there to win the match; he was there to help put someone over. But how was Dwayne Gill as a trainer? Did he get you set up with everything like the way you wanted to? Was he great?
So I give all the credit to who I call, not to downplay him, but he wasn't very hands-on. I give all the credit to what I say, like my real trainers. That's Earl Hart and Rich Myers. They were known in Maryland as the Holy Rollers. They also did some stuff for WWF. And yeah, man, like I give all the credit to them. Like without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like they were mentors both in and out of the ring. I mean, they treated me like I was their daughter.
Mm. That's always a good relationship to have once it comes into getting into the ring and having that good relationship. How key is that into becoming a pro wrestler? The I want to call it a mentorship. I've never been in the ring, so correct me if I'm wrong on any of
No,
this.
that's what it is.
It-
It's like you know how you have a bad kid and you say, "Oh, it's not their fault," that blame the parents. That's how it is with wrestlers. It's like blame the trainers if they're not, you know, where they should be.
mm.
So it's similar to a parent-child relationship. You know, it's vital. It can make or break you. Who your trainers are can make or break you.
That's a really good suggestion for some of those who get into wrestling. Like I see Brandon, I got his comment up here right now. Brandon, I know he did a lot of amateur wrestling during his time period, and he knows that the training for it is insane. I've watched him train, absolutely crazy. And Rob, I appreciate you saying I hate the saying it ain't ballet. Have you ever seen a ballerina's feet?
Yes, yes, exactly. Like no.
No, that is definitely true when it comes to this. Uh, Now, I want to get into your time as an independent pro wrestler. Now, during your time on the independent scene, what is one match that you would recommend for someone to go watch if they want to know what Amber Rodriguez is all about?
So the match I want to refer people to isn't even on YouTube. You have to subscribe to MCW Rage TV. It's monthly for $5.99.
That's all right. Promote it.
So yeah, you have to go there, and your first month is actually free. But to answer your question, it would be my last match. Little did I know. Um, I'd be returning back. But my Luther Leaves Town match against Mickey James, because see, the first time I worked Mickey, we actually had a whole tour together with MCW. The first time I worked Mickey, that was a great match, but you know, there's always those kind of first opponent jitters, you know what I mean? And you're still kind of feeling each other out, and then you work each other again, and it's even better. Then again, it's like marinating some chicken, right? Like by the time it's finally like been sitting for a while, you know, you've worked each other for, you know, time and time again. It's like it's, that person like the back of your hand, and the match is just even greater because that chemistry is there. So yeah, the last time I worked her, I mean, I knew I was going out, so I left it all in the ring. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some that I know that are kind of bitter about the business, like, oh, it's my last match, like I don't care how this goes. Like, I put every ounce of my heart in that match. Like, I love that match. I could watch it over and over. It's the one match I had in my entire career that I enjoy watching. I hate the rest of them. Like, I normally hate watching myself. I watch a match and I'm like, this is wrong. I should have did this better. Like, why did I walk to the ring like that? Like, but this is the one match that I deem almost flawless. Almost.
Oh, all right. All right. Are you very critical about yourself when you're watching like back your matches? That's always tough, though. You always got to get a second opinion for that. I've talked to so many wrestlers, and when they like review their own matches, I'm like, dude, I didn't even notice anything right there. What are you talking about? Oh, no, I've screwed up right here.
And see, for
sometimes
you,
you guys are
like
very
you
hard on
say, oh,
yourself.
nothing happened. And it's like, for me, I'll have a whole notebook full of stuff.
Ooh, I hear you. Now, let me ask you this. Who taught you the most outside of the wrestling ring and inside of the wrestling ring?
What do you mean by that?
Just as far as, I guess, outside of the ring, you could say how it pertains to life. And inside of the ring, is there somebody that you were like, man, they really taught me a lot, like a person that you had to work with, and you're like, man, they really got into my head and showed me, like, I didn't realize I was doing this. And are there any big influences on you as far as who taught you like the most things that you were like, okay, I learned a lot today?
In ring, I would say it's between Mickie James, of course, because we had worked each other so much. In each match, she had like such great notes for me, and she really pushed me to be a better performer. Like, if you watch like the evolution from the first match we had to the last one, it's like, for me, it's like watching two different workers in myself. Because she just, knew how to pull that out of me and, make me realize things that, I didn't even know I could do. But I just loved how she believed in me. She trusted me. She would ask me, what I think should go in certain situations. I'm like, but you're Mickie James. Like, why do you care what I think? Like, you know what I mean? But I love that she just pushed me to my greatest potential. Her and William Regal. There was one time I did extra work for WWE, and Regal sat down and spoke with all the extras and gave us pretty much a free seminar. Like, everything he said, man. I mean, my brain was like a sponge that day, and I just took in everything he had to offer and everything he said. He watched each of our matches. He gave us notes on all of our matches, and we did promos with him. Like, pretty much the whole day we were with him. And man, like, you can't put a price on that. I mean, it was just wonderful. That I would never forget that. So outside of the ring, just like in life, I have to give it to Missy Sampson. I call her my wrestling mom. I love that woman. One of my Black Wall Street brothers, Drolix. I have to give it to him. I go to him for so much. Like, he really is my big brother. Like, I mean, like, man advice to, my kid, like everything. So yeah, I have to give it to them. And there's like a list of other people. So I'm sorry if I'm leaving you out. I'm just trying to keep it short and sweet.
That's all right. I only asked for one, so you did tremendous. I appreciate that. Speaking of going outside of wrestling, what are some of your hobbies outside of the ring? What do you like to
Being
do?
a mom. I love being a mom. I love playing hide and seek with my baby. I love hiding in the closet and scaring her because I'm crazy. Like, her reaction is so funny. Like, I love popping out of closets and she doesn't expect it.
What's the reaction that you normally get?
She does this like playful scream because it's like, I think she's like, she knows where I am, but she wants me to feel like I did something. So,
It feels like it's supposed to have the opposite effect, but the kids always know. Kids always know.
Like,
I call mine the intern on here.
like, oh, here's mom again. Let me act scared. Like,
Right?
but no, being a mom and I'm into pole fitness. I want to get into pole fitness competitions. Actually, I was getting ready to before COVID-19, so hopefully I can get back into that soon. Also learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over at Mobile MMA Club. Shout out to Jerry, that's my instructor. And then I also help coach at the Diamond Mine Wrestling Academy alongside Andrew, or Vladimir Koloff's his wrestling name, and Gene over there. And I love those guys.
Do you like coaching a lot? I mean, are you always someone who feels like you're a better teacher than
So I learned by teaching, and then I just kind of fell into it. Like, it went from me just like correcting certain things that, it's just things that people told me that I see it, and I'm like, oh, hey, like, so and so taught me this, like, maybe you should try it this way. It went from that to me, like, eventually just like, hey, let's do this drill, hey, let's try this out, let's run a practice match with blah blah blah. So I just kind of fell into it. But pretty soon I'm gonna go and train at Elevate Pro, also over in Louisiana. So between the two. So yes, I like to be both a student and a teacher because you never stop learning. But I also learn by teaching, like by reteaching things that I've been taught. It helps me retain it better.
I like that. I like that. Um, so in ring work. Now, I watched a bunch of your matches recently to prepare for this,
I'm
and
sorry.
I have to say this: you have one heck of an arm drag. Like, I really like your arm drags. Uh,
Really?
Yes, I don't know why. I think it's when you're down on one knee and it looks so good. Like, you could just tell people who have really great arm drags in pro wrestling. Maybe it's just because I've watched for like 30 years since I was like a little kid. So I watch them, and I always love, like, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat stands out to me. And I liked yours a lot. In every match I saw, I was like, man, that arm drag is good. And then you got to have the intensity after, like, yeah, I got you locked in it now. One of my favorite things. But I think something else that really stands out with you from all of your time in pro wrestling is your character work. And I want to ask you, how have you molded and shaped your characters throughout the career? And do you have a favorite character that you've played?
So I started off doing this kind of gangsta Latina gimmick, um, which wasn't hard to do. It's who I am. But the honest answer is I saw a lot of other women starting to do it. And so I'm like, man, like, I really want to stand out. I don't like, why would you book me when you can book homegirl over there that does the same thing for less money? You know what I mean? So I always try to separate myself from the rest. So I'm like, well, I gotta scrap this and evolve into something else, something greater. And so actually it was when I was working Mickey and I dropped the MCW belt to her. I had this weird thought. So at the time I was watching the show called Once Upon a Time, and my favorite character is Regina, the evil queen. I love everything about her. Also, Cookie from Empire, right? Like, I don't even have to say anything. Like, like, just that character alone, like, she's a queen, she's a savage, right? She's a strong Black woman. Take that, and Regina, the evil queen, who's had everything taken from her, and now she's very vengeful. Even though she is still a queen, she still feels the need to assert her dominance, right? So I'm like, man, like, what if I can combine these two character traits? Like, what if I can embody this evil queen, you know, character, and still embody that strong Black woman, still be sassy, still be, just like, I own everything that I do. You know what I mean? And so when I lost the belt to Mickey, I was like, what if I didn't believe I lost it? Like, what if I like lost the belt and I lost my mind? Right. And like, so that's when you see me coming out with this invisible belt, right? Because like in my head, like it's real. I never lost it. My brother's even shining it for me, and it's like there's nothing there. So I love that. I love like, just that insanity, but still powerful, if that makes any sense. And so today I still kind of have those two characters combined. I will always be a fan of that evil queen character. Um, And so yeah, I guess Cookie and Regina, and that's me.
No, that's a really dope answer. Like I watched one of your interviews, I believe it was for MCW, and you were outside, and I like the little things like you were putting gloves on while you were talking. That could have been something you did right before, but to me, that showed the power and dominance that you had, saying that you would take on all comers. And I just noticed, and I'm like, her character work is really, really like deep and good. You looked right into the camera, no fear with anything, and I just picked up on all of this, and I'm like, the character is the main thing that had me like focused on it. And like I said, dope arm drags. Like I love them.
Thank
I love
you.
them. I absolutely love them. And watch out for the kiss of death too. Just
Yeah.
letting people know. um, but I want to start a new segment on here called Take the Powder. Now, everybody knows taking the powder in pro wrestling is going outside of the ring to catch your breath, maybe get some heat, whatever. But I want to talk about something outside of the wrestling business with you. And let's talk music for a second.
Oh,
So, music, what is your favorite kind of genre of music?
ooh, it's hard to pick one. I love so much music. So I listen to everything from like Beethoven to like classical composers because I play piano. So I listen to classical composers and then I listen to hip hop. Like I love J. Cole, Kendrick, 90s hip hop, reggaeton, Don Omar. I mean, I cannot get enough of that. And just like soft R&B. I love rock and roll. I love a little bit of country. I listen to everything. I'm weird.
Now, listen, I always tell people country and rap music are the exact same thing. It's just a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, honky tonk badunkadunk and back that ass up are like this close, people. Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
So country people always want to argue rap's the worst, and then rap people say country's the worst. You got to let it
I
go.
love both.
Um, Now, do you have a particular favorite song?
Hmm. It's Alive by Pearl Jam. Alive by Pearl Jam. It's my favorite song ever. I could listen to that on repeat for the rest of my life.
Mm, mm. That sounds you have like such a deep like variety of music. That is so different to hear. Um Now Montezi does your theme song. I don't
Hmm.
know if that's for every promotion that you go to,
Hmm.
but how did you meet up with Montezi? Like how did everything get set up with him?
Man, we go back like cornrows. So, I can't believe we just said that. So, way back in MCW, he made Drawlex's theme song. He ended up also making the theme song for Black Wall Street, the whole faction. Um, when I started back up wrestling again in 2020, he was automatically the first person I thought of. I mean, I wouldn't trust anybody else with this project because he knows me so personally. And these songs that he's done for me, they have like a personal touch to them because there's also one more that I didn't debut yet. Um, but yeah, he made Drawlex's theme song, came out to an MCW event, met the whole group, and yeah, we just hit it off from there. Like here we are almost 8 years later. So
Yeah, no, TZ's definitely one of the coolest cats that I've ever spoke to. Um I'm laughing at the chat right now. I can see it. Here, I'll pull it up for you so you can see it too. Someone put Pearl Jam, let's go. Someone said old school wrestling fans love basic moves, the arm drags, clothesline drop kicks, DDTs,
yeah,
etc. Big
yes.
facts. Big facts when it comes to that. Um, Now, before we get towards the end of this, we often like to play a game towards the end called one word association. I'm just going to throw some random things at you, and you can tell me what they mean to you if you want, or you can give one word answer for how you feel about them. You just let me know, okay?
Okay, I'm scared. Okay.
MCW,
Home.
s'mores,
Delicious.
piano.
Oof, love.
Okay. Montezi.
Brother.
Okay. Black Wall Street.
Brothers.
Ooh. All right. Professional wrestling 2020.
Ah, man. One word?
One word. You can expand. You can expand upon it though if you want. I know some of them are difficult too.
I have hope. I have hope for it.
Okay. Okay. Definitely awesome that we got to speak and talk today. I have some of your links down below for people who want to find Amber Rodriguez. You guys can give her a follow on Twitter. It's Amber1Rodriguez if you want to follow her on there. She's got a pro wrestling tee store. That is the first link for buy
Yes.
a shirt, people. That's the best way to support anybody that you like. Buy a t-shirt. And I also put her Instagram down in there below as well. But if you got anything that you want to plug, give some people some shout outs, the floor is yours.
You gave it all away. Like you said, prowrestlingtees.com/renegade queen. Thank you so much for plugging that. Please buy a shirt. Please. Um, what else? Oh, follow the Wrestling Realm also on Twitter and Instagram, and we have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. And shout out again to Montezi because we have another project coming out very soon called Apply Pressure. So yeah.
I like that. I like that. And if you guys want to check out anything else from Everything Pro Wrestling, you guys can get some gear from us as well. You guys can check out our TeePublic store. We've got a link tree down below with all the links into it. But like I said, you know what? Before you buy one of my shirts, buy one of Amber Rodriguez's shirts. I'm saying that right now. Get her shirt because I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to be put in an arm drag. I can't afford it. All right. But Amber, thank you so much for your time to do this interview. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks.